What's the crack, lads? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about a brand new setup, tactics, formation, playstyle, and how to break down pretty much any defense with the new gameplay. So, you're going to probably face one of two issues in this game currently with the way that they've modified certain things. Passing lanes being blocked is the number one issue. A lot of people now are using tight marking or man marking to block the passing lanes and keep your out wide players from getting the ball, restricting your centre forwards from getting on the ball, and they're forcing you to play the game at their pace, right? We're going to show you how to do it. The second thing is that you're probably going to be coming up against higher skilled players now that they've changed the matchmaking. You're going to be coming up against guys that are either really high rank or that are used to playing the meta, or very aggressive 4 up front formations or stuff like that, right? Or people playing meta to collar or edge crossing or some abuses. So for this video, we're going to show you two setups. We're going to use the same setup for the possession gameplay with Rijkaard and with the free-to-play. For any of you free-to-play guys that don't want to spend a cent on this game, we're going to use Pep Guardiola. So that's going to be the second part of this video. Or you could use Ancelotti as well. It doesn't really make a difference. Whatever manager that you want, you can buy for GP. Or else if you have a super manager like Rijkaard, you're going to have one extra, key tip here to make your game into Division 1 style or into top 500 style. So when we actually play here with Rijkaard and we start off, our main possession gameplay and our main tactic that we're going to be using is actually going to be our sub-tactic. Now this is a bit of mind games and obviously it's triggering it. I've done videos on this before, but we are going to start off with long ball counter so that most of the opponents you're going to be facing are going to think that you're going to be playing long ball counter. And then we're going to switch to possession game and press up, because that's what the game is all about here. You'll see here, we get a counter attack blocking the passing lane. We're playing with possession here. We're going to spread it out wide, which the formation is that I'll show you. We go with the ball, put the ball into a dangerous area, and we go and score a nice goal. When you're playing long ball counter, you are going to be more focused on defending than normal compared to possession game or out wide or quick counter. So that's one thing to keep in mind, okay? The rest of the setup is pretty similar. We're going to start with a 4-2-1-3. We've got 2 defensive players as sitting. We've got our 4 man at the back. We're going to throw defensive on. If you are using a destroyer CB and a DMF, I would put defensive on the 2 of them. Very simply as well, you do not need deep line if you're playing long ball counter. If you're playing any other formation, you do, in my opinion. It's very helpful. And then counter target on our SS or our right winger or our left winger. This time we're taking a look at Bale. But where this formation is going to be 90% used is when we have the ball and when we're attacking and when we're using possession. So this is the way that it does, right? You will see the breakdown here. We go from super deep to getting turned over in possession. And then obviously when we break out here, you will see that because we're still using possession, we ride the tackle, we're going to cut it back in, we set a ball through to Fernando Torres, and then it's a simple sweat across for a little finish with Drogba. Now, you can apply that to out wide as well. So if you're like, oh, I prefer out wide at the moment, I love crossing, I love this, I love that, you can apply this same play style with possession. It just happens to be that if you are good at the game and you can control the play, possession's super fun now. So this setup that you have here, we're actually going to be making a couple of key changes. We're going to be moving Zé Roberto, right, into a different position. We're also going to be putting Son from left mid to right mid, and we're going to be our left wing to right mid. And we're going to be, because we're using possession game, we're going to be focusing on when we lose possession. That's going to be our main thing. With long ball counter, which we don't need to worry about if we're using Pep for the free variant of this formation, I'll show you that in a second. You don't need to focus on losing the ball. We can set up a little bit more defensively. But the main thing with this is to have anchoring on Zé Roberto and attacking on our right midfielder. That is going to trigger and disrupt and like really glitch the opponent's AI to the point where they just will be bamboozled. Because you're going to be switching between sub-tactic every second attack, you know what I mean? To keep the AI from completely guessing what you're going to do. And I'm going to show you the difference on screen in a second, right? You also have the counter target on the same player. Now, I did speak about having a free-to-play squad. In this squad here, you can see that we have Grimaldo, we've got Beckenbauer, Rudiger, the free boys, we've got free Costa Corta from the penalty game, we've got the Grimaldo from the nomination contract, we've got the free Showtime in Gnabry. Yes, we have Suarez up front, but you can swap out that Suarez if you don't have him. This is our free-to-play squad with a free-to-play setup, and we have simply copied the exact setup that we just have, and we just had, and we just showed, but obviously replace Rijkaard with Pep Guardiola, and we're just going to be playing a sub-tactic with possession and our main tactic with possession, because he doesn't have a secondary team play style proficiency. So that's the one issue that you have, and a little bit of the pay to win, which I do understand that it is pay to win, that you can have, pay to kind of have an advantage, so to speak. But for the setup in our individual instructions, very similar. We're going to put defensive on Tchouaméni, who's going to be our DMF, defensive on Rudiger, who's going to be our destroyer centre-back, so the same as Cannavaro in the setup, and Tchouaméni is going to fill in for Vieira. We're also going to have deep line because we're going to be higher up the pitch. We didn't need deep line on Patrick Vieira with our long ball counter for our defensive sub-tactic, but we do need it because we're going to be playing possession on both of these tactics with Tchouaméni. And then also we have our counter target being replicated from Bale to Diego Maradona here. So it's very similar. It's a very similar style. Mainly what we're going to be doing here is obviously trying to get the ball to the likes of Gnabry and Maradona so that we have both points of attack. Now our sub-tactic on here, it isn't going to be any different to what we just showed you with Rijkaard for our main squad setup, but we are going to be changing the personnel. So obviously Grimaldo's going to be filled in for Zé Roberto, you've got Diego Maradona instead of Bale, and this positioning is going to be identical. We've only got one man up front, but we really want to be attacking with our 4 players, which are Gnabry, Grimaldo, Maradona, and Gyökeres. So it's the same rules apply. For the setup here, because we're not using long ball counter, this is the one variety that you need to do, or the one variable you need to change. We're going to put anchoring on Grimaldo. Now, this is a really important tip. We're also going to put defensive on Grimaldo, right? And lastly, we're going to put deep line on Grimaldo. Grimaldo's now going to act pretty much as a tight marking wing back that can still push forward and keep his width. So he's not going to come into Beckenbauer's zone. Costa Curta is down as a right back. We're going to still have counter target on Maradona. Because we don't have a left back in this setup, we're going to be wanting Grimaldo to get back into that area. Now, I'm going to show you a very simple like change from what you do when you're using sub-tactic. And you can see that the AI is all over the place. You can see it here that they're being pulled and dragged out of position. So what you're going to be doing from match to match or even possession to possession is you're going to have one setup. If that's not working, you're going to be changing it and you're going to be dragging the opponent's AI. That's going to disrupt their tight marking, their man marking. You're going to be having 2 different ways of attacking, 2 different ways of defending, and you can go from that. And obviously, the better the team you have, the more options you have with sub-tactic. But that is a brilliant setup. Listen, the sub-tactic and the tactics will only go so far. We're never, ever, ever getting away from the quick counter or the long ball counter meta. Xabi Alonso's still going to reign supreme for all the top ranks because he just puts you under so much pressure. But the game is all about having fun for me at this stage, and I definitely think you should give this a go. And it also works offline, but I'll do a more in-depth video. Check out this other video that I had as well. It's not to be missed. Until next time, don't forget to subscribe. I'll talk to you in a bit. Peace.